Right, here we go. Another week on the run. So this is week commencing Monday, 15th of August, 2022, of course. Yeah, so fuel prices kind of stayed a bit consistent the last few weeks. Well, actually, we dropped last week, which is a non-vlog week, and they've stayed about the same as last week, this week. So my Shell card that I get through UK Fuels, which is the one I've been using recently, is 139.76 plus the VAT, and the BWOC or Block card, which is their own card that uses obviously the Key Fuels network, their own card called Control for Diesel, is 139.14. So that's the first time in probably 5 or 6 weeks, maybe 4 or 5 weeks that it's been cheapest. So I'm going to use that one this week with the VAT. That works out 166.97. So yeah, good. The fuel prices have come down a bit, but they're still like sky high really. Still pushed my like fuel cost per mile up, I'd say, by about 8p compared to this time last year. So yeah, Monday morning obviously, so I started looking for jobs at 10, went for a run before I started this morning and get a few things sorted. Do plan to be out 5 full days this week, or work 5 days, willing to tramp 4 nights. So yeah, and it got to 11 o'clock and I didn't get a job. Well, I actually bid on a job about this time, 11 o'clock, down to the southwest again, and it actually rang me, and when it rang I thought, it's one of them ones where you bid on a job and the phone rings and you know it's, you answer it and they say what job it is, and you just see heart sinks and you think, why did I bid on that one? But then the line kind of cut out and they didn't call me back, and I didn't bother ringing them back, so I didn't actually get that job in the end, which, you know, might have been a lucky escape. But then another job pinged up going to a bit of an out of the way area, but not as out of the way as this place, the southwest one. Well, that was Plymouth, which, you know, Plymouth's a big place, but it's still, you know, quietish area. The job that I did get in the end, I got at 11:15. It was picking up in B26, which is actually well, it was at the airport. The airport was in the B26 postcode area. Picking up from some air freight company. 2 drops, one in Ormskirk, which is just kind of off the M6 south of Preston, and then there was the last drop was in Alnwick, or Alnwick as it's spelt, what was pronounced Alnwick, famous for Harry Potter, or the Alnwick Castle, which was, you know, the setting for Hogwarts, I think, in Harry Potter. So yeah, went and got loaded. Turned out to be parts for John Deere tractors, going to 2 different John Deere dealerships. First one was just 1 box straight in tipped. Second one I was a bit concerned because I didn't get it. I knew I wouldn't get it till like quite late. Got up here and tipped about 6:30. So the shipper rang and they got back to me and says, yeah, there'll still be someone there at that time. When I went to pick up, I had a like 20-minute wait because it hadn't passed being released by customs. So obviously it's air freight. I've had this before where the goods are sat there and they're like, yeah, we can't load you in because they haven't been approved, they haven't been cleared customs or something like that. There's all kinds of import stuff with certain, you know, well, everything that comes from abroad really. You seem to get it more with airline stuff, air freight. There's only like 20-minute delay. Got loaded. Nice drive up here. It's pretty nice. I don't really normally go past Preston on the M6. So I managed to, you know, drive all the way up to Carlisle. That section of the M6 is, you know, through some pretty nice scenery. And then across the A69, we were to Newcastle. That's quite nice. Scenic drive. And then, you know, up to Alnwick on the A1. Yeah, and then did the tip. Went and filled up with fuel, ready for tomorrow. It's got a full tank. And then went into town, got myself a Chinese, egg foo young and chips. Sat in the market square in Alnwick. Beautiful town, obviously, as well. That historic town, lots of nice old architecture. Ate me takeaway in the square, and then went for a bit of a wander. Had a look at the castle, what I could see of it. It's all shut now. Yeah, that's it. That's the day, really. So quite an interesting day. And I got £308 for that job, and it was 298 miles loaded. So it's worked out, and it was a medium wheelbase job. So the reason I got the money for it, I did, was because it's going to Alnwick. Not many people are going to quote to go to Alnwick, but being a tramp, I can take a bit of a risk. I'm only about 30 miles north of Newcastle, so anything that comes up in the morning to the north of the River Tyne, probably, I can go for, and there's still a chance that something could come up around this area, or maybe even slightly further north. There are a few industrial estates and stuff, so yeah, that's a decent start to the week, really, considering I didn't get a job till gone 11, 308 quid, decent pence per mile all in. Just see how we get on tomorrow now. Right, Tuesday update, won't take long. 0 jobs today. 0. Is that 0? Whatever. Fuck knows. Zilch, nothing. £0 takings. Obviously, less than £0 earnings, because I did drive some miles today. And obviously I've got my fixed costs for insurance and stuff like that, so I've made a loss today, never mind earning money. So started looking 7:20 up in Alnwick. Admittedly, not the best place, but still as within catchment area of like North Newcastle and north of the Tyne, I thought. But got to 10:15, didn't have any jobs, or a few very quiet. Even though I extended my job notification area, so I set my location as Morpeth, and I put it up to 50 miles radius instead of a normal 20, so I was getting notifications for like Durham and all kinds of places, Sunderland and further down. But the feed was just really quiet, even for up here, very quiet. Got to 10:15, drove further down to Morpeth, so I was like closer to jobs coming up in Newcastle that did come up, so my ETA is closer, so I'm more likely to get a job, and that's where jobs are more likely to come up. Didn't work. Got to about 3ish, drove down to by Newcastle Airport, that area, Newcastle Airport Retail Park, I think it's called, or something like that, and sat there until about 6. Jobs did come up, did bid on a fair few jobs, just didn't get them. And when I looked at who's around me, there's probably, there's within the catchment area, it shows in there 30-mile radius, at least 100 vans, and there's probably, I'd say on average today, 2 jobs an hour coming up. That's from motorbike to long wheelbase, even with that extended catchment area. So it shows how quiet it is. That's quiet even for up here. And as long as, fundamentally it just means that I didn't get a job anyway today, so £0. Yeah, so that's it for today. I'm just going to tramp again now. So I'm in Kenton, which I don't think is a great area, to be honest, but I'm in a car park and by a health centre on the back of some shops and stuff, quite well lit. There's probably a bit of CCTV around here, so I should be alright tramping here. Don't really want to move now. So that's it. Tuesday, £0. Right, Wednesday update. Wednesday night now. Happy to say I did get a job today, so it did take me until 11:15 to get a job, so a bit of a late start, but at least the day worked out okay in the end. Yeah, so I was just in that Kenton area, airport area of Newcastle, just off the A1, and a job, when I got it, it was a long wheelbase job. I got 7 miles from it. It was 298 miles loaded, long wheelbase. quoted 275, which you might be thinking, well, that's less than £1 a mile, but you're not going to get £1 a mile, I don't think. Loaded miles on a 300-mile job in a long wheelbase, so that's actually pretty decent money loaded. It worked out about 90 pence a mile, all miles, but then I managed to shave a bit of miles off coming down a slightly more direct route, which probably added about 10 minutes to the journey, so bumped up to 92 pence a mile. So it's just nice to get out of North East. It was picking up in Gateshead from 2 pallets from a metal fabrication company. They were just like aluminium brackets, 2 pallets, very little weight to them. Going down to Newport, South Wales, so a place I really struggled to get out of 2 weeks ago, twice on that last vlog. But Newport itself's not too bad because you're not too far from Bristol, and Newport's quite a big place. Fair bit of industry here, and then you're not far from Cardiff, and then you can nip up the valleys and stuff. Sort of this end of the valleys. The eastern valleys in South Wales is a bit up there as well. So yeah, pretty straightforward drive down, about 5.5 hours driving. And I delivered to, in the last vlog I picked up from a train manufacturer in Newport. This time I was picking up the stuff and bringing it to that place. And then I realised when the job came through the details, this is the shipper I did a job for when I collected from there 2 weeks ago, and I took the windscreen up to Crewe on the Friday afternoon. So it's probably a case of, obviously I wasn't very far from it, probably the quote I imagine was pretty reasonable. I don't know, maybe they had cheaper, but obviously I've done a job for them before a couple of weeks ago, so maybe that was it, you know, that's what it takes sometimes. They're just really happy to get a job, especially it was getting on in the morning. And that was it for today. So I got tipped there, you know, all done by about 5:45. And then I nipped, got a Chinese, and I'm now sat in Newport in a Morrison's. Can you see the Morrison's sign? Probably not. Anyway, standard Morrison's car park, but there's no parking restriction here overnight. I always think when I come to Wales, and it's obviously more South Wales that I come to, very rarely go to North Wales where I'm originally from. Just that's a really quiet area. There seems to be less parking restrictions in supermarkets and stuff, so I don't know if the laws are slightly different in Wales compared to England, don't know, but yeah, you do sometimes see them, but you see less, so it makes it a lot easier to tramp. And I've actually got a job booked for the morning, so this evening, probably about 8 o'clock, job pinged up, picking up in Pontypool, which is up the valley from here, directly north, 12 miles, going to Bournemouth, 115 miles, and it said pays 140. I'm only 12 miles from it, 115 miles on the job, so that's 127 miles on the job, including getting there. Pays 140, and it was a medium wheelbase job, and I thought that's pretty decent, so I just quoted 140. And I've got that, so it's picking up at 8:30 tomorrow. It's going to put me in Bournemouth probably about midday, which is okay. Bournemouth, I think, a good area, but it's Thursday, and I'll just try and get north, try and get back towards the Midlands for finishing up the following day on Friday. Yeah, so I don't know why they put 140 on that. They probably would have got it cheaper, and probably because it's late at night, maybe the shipper just wanted to put it on there, put a bit of a decent, you know, rate on it, and then just wants it covered, you know, so they can crack on with their evening or whatever. Maybe that was it, I don't know. Or maybe there's more to this job and it's going to be an absolute nightmare, who knows. But if it wasn't declared when the bid's made, so if there's anything extra, like extra weighting or something, then charges still apply, no matter what the rate agreed for the job, because the rate you bid is for the information provided and sort of like standard terms and conditions and stuff. So yeah, that's that. So good to get a decent day today. obviously yesterday was still made up for yesterday, but I had a decent Monday, decent today, and obviously yesterday was a complete shocker, blank. And I've got a job booked in for tomorrow, so I'm going to stay here in Newport. I could drive closer, but I'm only 20 minutes away, and then I'd get up there and I'd be trying to find somewhere to tramp, so I might as well stay here and then leave here like just before 8, maybe get up there 8:15. See if I can get loaded a bit early. So that's Wednesday done. Right, Thursday update time. So yeah, I went and collected that job this morning. Got there like quarter of an hour early, 8:15. They loaded me pretty much straight away, so I was out of there by 7:30, which was when the collection time was actually booked for. So got a bit ahead of the game there. It was just 16 3-meter lengths of this like steel channel, or 6 of one, 10 of the other. No weight to it at all. Like, I'd say absolutely max 200 kilograms, maybe 250 possibly. So pretty light load. Really nice drive down to Bournemouth. So over the bridge, down the M4 to junction 18, I think it was, whatever that is, and then I cut not through Bath but past Bath, and then sort of through the Dorset countryside. Beautiful, you know, rolling countryside. Some pretty crazy switchback bends up a big climb, and I did stop for, you know, toilet break in the bushes, and the place I stopped was a cracking view, so I took a little video. I'll put it at the end of this bit. So yeah, real beautiful part of the world, Dorset. Got down, like I say, to Bournemouth, building site, straight in, tipped within like 10 minutes. So that was pretty good. And today's actually gone really well. I pulled up outside that place, checked the feed, bid on a job that was already on there, just about to pull off, you know, find a supermarket car park or whatever, because it was where I was parked. It was near the Bournemouth front, so it was all like paying display parking, even on the public road and stuff. Just about to pull away, another job pinged up, so bid on that. That was from Poole, small van job. It was 25 minutes from it, and it was going to Oakham in Leicestershire. A shipper I used to do a fair bit of work for, but I've not done much work for them for a while now. Reason being was they had a lot of COVID collection jobs when the whole COVID thing was going on, like loads each day and into the night, and I did quite well out of them, but that obviously contracts come to an end. They're not doing that now. So I imagine they got really busy for like maybe 18 months with that work, and then it's probably just gone away or whatever. But I'm sure that kind of happens as shippers. You have like temporary work with customers, and then we're mad busy, and then they won't be able to just go away or whatever. But anyway, I went and picked it up. It was just one box. It was alright. It was a small van job, one box. I quoted it 90p a mile, including getting there, which was 7 miles or something, maybe 8 miles. So on the job miles, slightly over 90p a mile. Admittedly going to Oakham, which is kind of a bit in the middle of nowhere, but not too far from Corby. Not really, about half an hour drive from Leicester. It wasn't actually banging Oakham, the town. It was onto a one of these sort of industrial unit places on a farm. It's like a real nice place. I like going to farm industrial estates. Real quick tip. And then I drove to, was it Lullingham or something? Afterwards, had a Chinese, some rice noodles. Had a bit of a walk around there afterwards. Beautiful old town. That's part of, it's right where I tipped, was right next to something water, Rutland Water. That whole area is Rutland. Beautiful countryside again. Yeah, so just went nice walk around this Lullingham, I think it was, a town, like real old sandstone buildings, picturesque place. Looked like there was a posh boarding school there in the middle of town, that kind of place. And then when I was there, actually before I went there, after I did the tip earlier, in today's job, the little box job. I tipped it about 4:30, and the feed was quite busy because I'm up in the East Midlands, so I was getting notifications for Leicester, Peterborough, Nottingham even, so it's a fair bit pinging up, busyish area. I bid on a job from Corby, which is 16 miles south of where I was. And it was 38 miles on a job, so 54 miles in total on the job, small van job, and it is going to Hinckley in the morning, picking up at 8. So it's only a £55 job, just over fraction over £1 a mile all miles, but it's a small van job, but it's getting me closer to home on a Friday. I should hopefully have that job done by 9:30, so that's like getting in a quick early one in. And then I'll try and get another couple of jobs in tomorrow and then get home. It'd be good tomorrow to do some in-charge jobs and slowly work my way home, just to bump up the pence per mile for the week, all miles and things. So yeah, pretty decent day today earnings. So 140 for that first job, 168 for the second, so 308 quid for the day, so that's good earnings. And the pounds per mile, or pence per mile, is 99 point something for them 2 jobs, because I did well on the first job, the rate. Yeah, so that's a pretty good day. So nice to have a good day. So it's just that Tuesday this week that's been shocker. The other rest of the week so far has been pretty good. So yeah, that's Thursday. Right, Friday on the run update. It's not Friday anymore, it's actually Monday the following week, so I'm quite behind. So this vlog's going to come out late. It's probably going to come out at the end of the non-vlog week, but it's for the previous week, if that makes any sense. If you're wondering. So yeah, I did that job from Corby to Hinckley. Pretty straightforward. The problem with leaving it, I can't exactly remember what it was. And then I was in Hinckley for a while, probably just over an hour to get the next job. There's a job coming up at a place called Ibstock, small van. I was 16 miles from it. It was 32 miles, so that's 48 miles. So I quoted it 50 quid. And I quoted it a few times and it kept getting reposted. In the end, he rings me and says, "Can I do it for 40? It's only a small van job." And I said, "No, kind of 50 is my minimum to make it sort of stack up for me. Quite just to not get that job and wait for another one." But then he just says, "Okay, fair enough. Need it covered anyway. I'll send it to you at 50. So you get that sometimes as a shipper. You can kind of almost call their bluff, but depends on how much you want the job. I didn't particularly want this job, so anyway, got it for 50 quid. Went and picked it up. That was one bag, like hold all, and it was going to the NEC in Birmingham, to a drop. I've been to the NEC in Birmingham before. I'm not sure if it was with the same ship. It was a while ago. Company that does, like events and equipment and stuff like that. So we got, loads of flight cases, loads of bags. This was just one hold all bag, which I picked up from a private house, and I took it there. So said before, in the NEC there is actually a small sort of like industrial estate area with small units, and there's companies like this, and there's a lot of the big like DHL expeditions, but like events kind of side of DHL and the DSV and a few other companies, transport companies who are involved with that industry. You've got little units there, and there's a few little bits and bobs companies. So yeah, tipped that, and then I've done this before. I thought, right, I'm not going to go straight out and out with security, because then there's nowhere to park really round there. We have to drive quite far. Things I just parked around the corner by these units, by an empty one, outside an empty one. I just sat there waiting for my next job. Had my lunch, so I tipped out about 12:15. Got to one, hadn't got anything. Obviously, I'm just looking at local jobs around Birmingham. Bid on a few, didn't get them. And got to one, I just thought, stuff this and call it a half day, and went home. So it was like 4.5 days was last week, working wise, just considering I'd do a blank on one day. Might be thinking, well, why am I taking a half day on a Friday? But I could have waited around all afternoon and not got anything. Or if I did, it might have got like one minimum charge job, like 40 quid. I just thought it's not worth it. I'm just going to go home. Got stuff to do at home. So that was Friday. I say I had stuff to do on the Friday afternoon, but I actually went for a bike ride, I'll recall. So it's still quite nice weather. Anyway, so the numbers for the week, the highlights, if you will, still in the same place as I just filmed that bit, just Runcorn. So yes, 4.5 days on the run, tramping all nights. So Monday, one job, 308. That was the one that took me up to Alnwick. Tuesday was the blank, £0. First blank I've had in a while. It's always hard to have a blank. Wednesday, £275. So, you know, I met my takings target of 250 plus for Monday and Wednesday. Thursday, the only day, well, no, two jobs, 140 and 168 for 308. So that's a joint best paying day along with the Monday, but I seem to remember the pence per mile was better for that day, Thursday. Friday, let's say half day, two jobs, 55 and 50 for 105. Comes to a total of 996, which is divided by 4.5, because half day on Friday, £221 a day takings, which isn't actually that bad really. Considering I had a blank in there, it's pretty good, because the other days were pretty reasonable. Never going to earn as much on a, or very rarely earn as much on a Friday when I'm trying to get home, and obviously I knocked it on the head early. So yes, 1,090 miles, which is 91.37 pence a mile, all miles, to loaded and unloaded. I have been trying to get to sort of 95p a mile, all miles, but I think my price point's just too high when I'm quoting jobs like that. So even though I'd like it to be higher, I was getting higher like in June, I think I'm going to have to drop it again, just so I get enough work to keep me busy. I think at the moment I'm not winning enough. It's quiet anyway, it's gone quieter again from June, and I'm just not winning enough jobs. There's less jobs to bid on, and I'm not winning enough for the ones I'm bidding on, so I'm going to have to lower my price. Obviously, I never work for silly money, like just, you know, never busy fool kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, I'll come on to that. No additional charges like tolls or, you know, congestion charges, and none of them this week. So my actual earnings for the week, so my profit, which obviously my takings plus the VAT bonus I get to keep, I've had a flat rate scheme VAT, minus all my costs, fixed costs and variable costs. Comes up 571 for the week, divided by 4.5 is 126 a day, which, you know, isn't at 150 I should be aiming to make this week. Obviously last week was an absolute shocker, £87 a day. Well, that was the last vlog week I did, and then 127 is kind of up to where I was in July now, early July or mid through July. Kind of back on track with where I was, but still below where I wanted to be this time of year, which is kind of why I'm knocking it on the head and slowing up. So that was the numbers for the week. So yeah, so the title of this video, I've decided already it's going to be exit strategy. So I am going to leave this year, and the sooner the better, basically, because I'm not doing very well. Totally lost motivation. I've passed my theories now, so the module 1, there's 4 modules to do in the HGV license. So I've passed module 1, which is the official theory tests, is 1A and 1B or something, multiple choice and hazard perception. So I think I mentioned earlier in the vlog the pass scores, but I passed them, and I passed the module 2, which is CPC Certificate of Professional Confidence, which is CPC case studies, which is basically another theory test because you just do it at the theory centre at the same time. It costs 60 quid for them three, all in. Obviously I spent about 25 quid on books to learn the stuff. So I've passed them. I was going to do the HGV licence, the practical driving lessons and tests in the West Midlands. That's obviously where I live, Walsall. But the earliest I could find with availability was, excuse me, itchy eye, beginning of October. But they did say, you know, we might be able to get you in sooner if there's cancellations and stuff. So I actually decided to look back where I'm originally from in North Wales. Thought maybe, you know, if it's somewhere around there, I can go and, you know, stay with my parents for a bit. I'm sure they'll have me. And if I can get it in there then quicker, all the better. So there was two on Anglesey. One said I could do start at the end of April, or end of August. And then the second one, which I've gone with, is starting the 5th of September. And it's only a 3-day course, believe it or not. 14,995, that includes the lessons in them 3 days and all tests. So the practical test, which is 3B or 3A, I can't remember, that's the one that you've got to be assessed at the actual driving on the road test. The reverse manoeuvres that I do, that's included, and also module 4, which is CPC, the other part of CPC, which is sort of like show me, tell me, sort of like walk on the truck and stuff. They do that themselves, so it's not at the test centre, it's them. So they're going to do them 2 bits with me, and then it's just a driving test. So 1495, that's including VAT, all in. I hope I pass, obviously. It's not much, is it? It's 2 6-hour days, Monday, Tuesday, and then the test is on the Wednesday, and I got some driving stuff before the test. So that's pretty cheap, because what I was quoted around the West Midlands was like around the £3,000 mark, but they were 8-day courses, and it was like 32 hours of driving, and one of them was 10 hours in a rigid class 2, and then the rest in a class 1. So it's not much practice really, but I've gone with that. Gone online, some people are saying that's all you need really. And the fact is, as a newly qualified driver, I'm not going to go, transport companies aren't going to hire me who have got like really tricky loads and stuff. It's more likely I'm going to get a job with the likes of Eddie Stobart, because they take on new passes, the big companies, and a lot of their work is really easy, you know, going from, you know, a factory making food or whatever, bakery or something, or, you know, making washing powder. You know, it's all designed for Arctics, and you take them to supermarket RDCs and you're just doing that all week. I think that's pretty much their work. They don't really do tricky stuff. So I think I'll try and make sure my first job is like not too tricky a work, just to sort of, I won't earn any, you know, great rates for all that kind of work, but for 6 months, maybe 12 months, that'll be all right. So that's the exit plan of getting out in the industry. Steve, who's a regular commenter, did say in the last one, don't know why you're going to like dead end places like Cornwall for £1 a mile, and he's absolutely right. I only did it because I was desperate. It was worked out all right in terms of, you know, getting to see a different part of the world. It's quite interesting. But yeah, I'm just really struggling at the moment. I struggled to get out of South Wales. I'm struggling to get out of sort of like Bristol area as well. The North East, really struggled last week with a blank. So I'm kind of, a plan for this week and going forward was to stay within the Midlands and what I call the Northern Belt, which is like Lancashire and Yorkshire pretty much. So, you know, well, up to as far as Cheshire, and then up to Preston, and across all the way to like Leeds, Sheffield, that sort of big rectangular block. So that's my kind of plan going forward, hoping I stick to busier areas and, you know, pick up jobs and do more than one job a day, because at the moment I seem to be doing a lot of one job days. So this morning, you know, it's a non-vlog week, I'll mention it, I actually started a bit earlier, 9:30, got a job within 15 minutes from Birmingham to Runcorn. I thought Runcorn's a great place by Warrington, plenty of work. Get up here, it's actually really quiet, and I didn't get a job again, so I was like, 1:45 I tipped this, I tipped the job today, and I've been sat around Runcorn, bid on a fair few jobs. Feed wasn't busy, like I say, but there were jobs and bid on them, didn't get them. So £108 a day today, so, you know, nowhere near enough. So yeah, not really sure, but it's just hard to make it work at all at the moment, just relying on the CX. That's why I'm pretty not very motivated at the moment. I don't know if you're watching these vlogs, it might seem all doom and gloom and stuff, but I've always been really honest, and I'm not going to go, you know, oh, it's great and all this stuff, because I'm not finding it great. Last year was pretty busy, I was doing pretty well. Oh, you know, I was always busy, or, you know, didn't have long to wait between jobs. Thing, but when you're spending hours and sometimes whole days just sat around trying to get a job, there's just, I'm really patient and stuff, and I don't mind, you know, a bit of that, but like it's just too much and just kind of wore me down now. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with that week just gone, how it went, and, you know, my plans going forward. Absolutely 100% leaving now. So if I can pass my test, all being well, massive fingers crossed, I could maybe even be, you know, looking for a job late September, early October, and sell the van, and then just go pay as you earn, employee for someone. It'd be quite nice to get out of this before winter, because it kind of gets a bit, you know, when the nights draw in, and then I've got to put the night heater on, which actually's got a noisy fan, so if I was going to use it again, I'd need to fix it. It's another thing I own that needs fixing at the moment. If I knock it on the head before, and I'm just going to rip it all out before I sell the van anyway. So yeah, that's kind of why I want this to do it quick. And it's easy to get a job in a HGV in the run up to Christmas, when it's really busy, when it will be if I leave it till like early next year, when, you know, less companies are going to be hiring. So that's my thinking. So anyway, that's that. As ever, any comments, please put them below. Cheers for watching.